Hello everyone and welcome back to Dune Awakening. Okay then, let's go ahead and pick up exactly where we left off. Alrighty then, let's get started. Well, a lot of stuff has changed since the last episode. Yeah, I have been playing for a long time since the last time, and yeah, as I said, a lot of stuff has changed. For example, now we are residing in the Hagar Rift. The old base on the shield wall is gone. I got a little bit tired of it, so I decided to try to build something new. Now, if you have been on Reddit recently, you might have seen this base already. I did post it. This is basically, I tried to imitate the architecture style of the movies, and I think I did a relatively decent job. Let me just show you. Unfortunately, it is nighttime, but it should be relatively visible. So I built this. As I said, I tried to replicate the architectural style of the movies, and I think it came out relatively alright. But there is one big problem with this base, and that is it's too big, at least for me. I'm a solo player, and well, I don't really need all that many machines. So yeah, I have my workshop set up here. I have the central hangar right here. We have a small scout topter and a medium assault topter. Yes, this is also new for this series. But the rest of the base is completely empty. And since I'm a solo player, I really cannot really fill it up. So, tell you what if we try to do something different this time around? If you remember, this base, well, this one requires stacks. Let me just show you. I have put the console down here, and if you take a look, this one requires stacks. I already paid it, but it does say that Solari per cycle is 14,000. Geez, that's, even for a weekly expenditure, that's not insubstantial. But there is something that we can do about that. If we, yeah, for this one I need a little bit of metal. You come with me. So, if you build the basic subweave console, here for example, and if you take a look, now this one does not require tax. And that is a pretty good way of, well, prolonging the lifetime of base, because, well, if we only need to log in from time to time to refuel the generators, that is a lot less work. We don't need to fly all the way to one of the social hubs. We can just log in, press this refuel generators button, and we are done for 3 weeks basically. And that is pretty good. So, tell you what if we build one of these bases in this episode? Basically, this is what the game community calls a tax haven. And tell you what, let's do just that. I have stocked this buggy with all the resources that we will need for this. And I think we can do this right nearby. So if we need to have access to any other kind of resources, it's going to be right there. So tell you what, I think we can build right here. It is a small flat amount of land. And since this is just a basic console, this will be, yeah, this will not require a lot of space. So, tell you what, I will put this guy right here. There. Now, the problem is, you might be able to tell that, well, we have a lot of room down underground. That is not ideal. We really want to maximize the amount of space that we have at our disposal for this. So tell you what, I will go ahead and take out some granite, and I will build a foundation. Yeah, right there. And to maximize the actual volume of this base, what we need to do is move this guy out of the way, and I will put 2 more foundations on top of this one. And that is where the base console will be. So I will demolish this one. We can reclaim the actual slot. And what we will do now is build the actual base console up here. Now, unfortunately, unlike the advanced console, we cannot extend this one, so this is all the space we will have at our disposal. Just to maximize all the space we can really get out of this, I will raise it up, and this is where I will place it. Okay, now, as usual, we can move the console itself inside the boundary. So I will move this one out of the way, and I will put it in the corner for now. There. And now we can demolish this tower, and we can start building the actual base. There, and now I have been experimenting with this a little bit, and the most amount of foundations that we can have is a 5x5. So let's go ahead and build that out. And we have the foundations laid for this base. As I've said, this is not going to be very big, but, well, I could not fill up that base anyways. And if I'm completely honest, I kind of feel more comfortable in smaller spaces because I like to have everything to have its place. So yeah, I feel more comfortable doing this kind of base. So you know what? If we can avoid text as an added benefit, might as well go for it, right? Now, on the corners, I definitely want to have rounded foundations because, well, as usual, I still want this place to look at least somewhat nice. So let's go ahead and fill up these spots with rounded foundations. And now we need to decide how do we want to get into the base. Well, I think it's pretty safe to say that this bottom level is going to be the garage. So we need to get into the base. Unfortunately, we are already bumping up against the outer edges of the base, so we cannot put an incline here. It will be out of bounds. Basically like that. Even though it appears to be just barely out of bounds, don't forget, we are still clipping through the terrain, so yeah, here you can see we are definitely out of bounds. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. I suppose we can get rid of these and build a small slope here instead. We will have to sacrifice a bit of space down here, but that only happens down in the garage, so I think that's acceptable. Speaking of, we might as well move the buggy inside. This is the tallest land vehicle we have at our disposal, so I suppose we can use this as a measuring stick, just how tall this garage has to be. And we can park it right here. Oh yeah, and speaking of, to make our lives a bit easier, I suppose what we can do is that... No, don't get inside. I just want to take a look at the inventory. I will take out these 80 iron ingots and I will place a couple of storages because that will make it a bit easier to get access to the building materials. There we go. And now all we need to do is put all the contents of the buggy in here. Don't worry about the body. I was out on a corpse run. I just didn't have enough room in the base to put the corpses in. Okay, now we have all the materials accessible straight from the storages. Now, well, let's check how tall this garage has to be. I already know that a single wall worth of height is not going to be enough, but maybe 1.5 should be okay. Let's take a look. So walls and... yeah, that is definitely not enough. The mining laser, I think, sticks out a little bit too much. But 1.5 walls should be enough. Yeah, that's enough. Also, that music, that means we have a storm coming in. Where is it? I think we might be okay. We might get missed by it. If not, then we can just go inside, that's fine. We have the main base right here. So, anyways, I think it's pretty safe to say that this garage can be 1.5 levels. Now, about the power. The problem is that, well, if you take a look at the power generators under these utilities, well, we have the regular old fuel power generator. This one only gives us 75 energy. That's not a lot. And it takes up a lot of space, so that's not going to be ideal, to say the least. We could go for these wind generators and, well, we could line them up next to the base, but that will not look very nice if I'm completely honest. We also have these. Now, these are a bit more space efficient. And you know what? Yeah, I think we can go for it. Now, I will build one of them, and also we didn't get a notification about this storm, so I think it will miss us, so that's good news. I think we can sacrifice these corners for these wind generators. Yeah, now, how tall are they? I do believe they are about 2 walls worth of height. I might be wrong on that one. Let's just place one there. And you know what? Just for the sake of protection, I will put some lubricant in it. And yes, we are being missed by the storm. I already stocked up on some lubricant, so we should have enough already. Yeah, this one requires industrial grade lubricant. That's fine. As I've said, I have been busy preparing for this. Yeah, don't worry about the storm, although, yeah, we are barely being grazed by the edge. Yeah, it's clearing up, so we are fine. So, let's go ahead and put some power. Uh-oh. We have a random NPC, let's take care of them. There we go. In fact, you know what? Might have to put them into the... Oh, right, we have no space in the inventory. That's fine. So, let's put some fuel into this one, and the base is now protected. Good. So, I think we can sacrifice these corners for these. Now, the question is how much we can squeeze in. If I build this outer face facing this way, yeah, 2 walls worth of headspace is what we need for this. Okay, in that case, I will put a rounded floor right here. Good. And you know what? I will put the ghost image of this one right here, so in the future all we need to do is fill it up and we can build it. There for now. Okay, so that will give us... can I squeeze in 3 of them? I don't think I can, but you know what? Let's just make sure. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be high enough. So we need the generator, and can I put one more up here? Oh, I actually can. Okay then, might as well. And then 2 more walls. Outer face, yes, this way. Okay, so how much power is this? That's going to be 3 here, 6, 9, 12. That is quite a bit of power. And, well, the old, well, technically old new base, that one is being powered by 15 regular wind generators. And, well, this one is, these guys are 3 times as powerful. So we can easily generate enough power to power all the machines that we have in that base right now. So that is very good news. Okay, I will not worry about building them just yet. This will be enough for the construction at least. Okay then. So we can squeeze in enough of these generators. That's very good. Let me just put this one on the top. And can I go any higher than this? Yes, I think I can. I am not sure about one more wall. Yeah, this is too high. But one more half wall. That's it. This is where we will end the vertical expansion of the base. And you know what? This is pretty much wasted space at this point, so I think I will just fill it up with a rounded wall and we can call it good enough. So this is what the corners of the building will look like. And you know what? I think I am happy with this because this will also create some depth. And as I have established already, creating depth on a building is a good way of making them look more interesting. Anyways, let's build out the garage walls next. And we have a garage. That is a very good first step, but the problem is now is that, well, we need to make sure that we can actually go up and down each level. And, well, we have 1.5 walls worth of space here. And unfortunately, all the corners will be filled up with power generators. Can we sacrifice a bit on the corners? Even if we get rid of one of these generators, we will still be able to generate more than enough power, so I think we can do this. Yes, I think so. Yeah, even with only 2 generators in each corner, we are going to be perfectly fine, I think. So yeah, I will leave this one here for now, but on this corner, for example, let me just put in... Yeah, let's just put in a regular corner here and a half wall here. Okay, now we have access to this corner, which means that we can actually put a stair here. And yeah. So tell you what, I will put in a stair right here. And then a half stair after it. There we go. This was needed because, well, we need to have access to this stair. So this corner has to be clear. And, well, if we are going to have power generators from this level upwards, then this corner will have to be blocked. So unfortunately, we need to have this landing here. So, you know, this stair makes sense. Okay, then I think this is okay from now on. Yeah, from now on, we can just put a single stair here and yeah, it's going to be accessible from both ends. So all we need to do is this basically. Okay, tell you what, I will build out every level all the way up until we reach basically how high do we want to have the hangar? Okay, I will need to rethink this one for a second. So that's 1 level, 2 levels, 3 levels, and I think at this point we are reaching the upper limit of this base. That looks like, yeah, we are already getting patterns on the upper level. I think we have reached the end. Yeah, that's it. This is the highest we can build. Okay then, that's fine. So we are going to have 1 level here, another level there, and a 3rd level there, and the last 2 of these walls will be the hangar. Obviously, I want to have some space for our ornithopters, so we definitely need to do it like this. So let's build out the corners of this base. Okay, so the corners are taken care of, and if we are going to have, yeah, the garage corners not built out like this, then I suppose we can only have 2 of these wind turbines. That's going to be perfectly fine, I think. Yeah, let me just move this one there, and let me put in the actual wall for, sorry, not wall, but the flooring for this one. So build roofs, and let's just use a normal roofing corner piece like this. There we go, and we definitely need to have this one built out like that one, just for the sake of consistency. Okay, so the garage already looks a bit more spacious, that's fine. And well, we can have 2 of these wind turbines apparently. That's fine, this will give us more than enough power, so I am not all that worried about it. Blocked by another object, can you please just squeeze yourself in, thank you. Okay, and I will put in the next piece of roofing. There, and once again, yeah, you know what? I think this is enough space. In fact, if we really wanted to, although no, we cannot have this corner dedicated to the hangar because, yeah, it's not tall enough. That's fine. I suppose we can sacrifice it for a bit of decoration. We will just block it off with this piece for now. Not quite. That's better. Okay, so we will have 2 wind turbines on each corner. That's going to give us more than enough power. Let me just put in this structure on each corner. Okay, we are making good progress. For now, I will put in the flooring for at least on the edges of these floors for now. Okay, I think it's pretty obvious what is happening here. We will obviously fill up this central space with flooring, but that can wait for now. Let's take care of the hangar, I suppose. Now, I think it's going to be big enough for the assault and the scout-topter. Just need to make sure that we, well, park them accordingly. Yeah, I think it's going to be fine. Now, unfortunately, because of how the Panther shields work, we cannot have the rounded roofs on this building. Unfortunately, we need to have strictly straight corners. But, can I squeeze in a small incline? No, it's just barely too tall. Oh well, it's not the end of the world. Okay, I will fill up this floor space real quick. Good, and we definitely need to fill up these walls. And I think... You know what? I will have windows on the upper levels, and I will fill up the lower levels with slightly rounded walls. Okay, now, I don't think we need to have panther shields on the entirety of the roof. I think we only need to have it on the center. So basically, I think these outer edges can be roofed over, and we will just have a 3x3, no, sorry, a 3x4 panther shield on the roof. In fact, we already have the resources, so might as well just... I think we can put it in already. So we need fabricate utilities and this one. Can we put... No, not this one, this one. Can I put it there? No, we need to have proper corners. That's fine. So this is what I had in mind for the panther shield. One facing vertically and this one facing horizontally. So let's go ahead and put them in. As I said, I already put all the resources into the buggy and now they are in the storages, so we have access to them already. You go right there and you can go right there. And the hangar is protected. In fact, we are water sealed at this point. Might as well drink to it. I suppose at this point we can start bringing in the ornithopters, but that can wait. How do we make the rest of the walls nicer? I mean, these corners are already making the base look kind of interesting, especially once we have the wind generators in. What else can we do? I suppose we don't really need to have these corner pieces here. We only really need to have access to the actual entrance to the staircase. So if we build a extra wall here and have a bit of a alcove on the outside, that will look... well, it will make it look a bit more interesting, I think. So tell you what, let's do just that. We just need some half walls facing this way, there, and one more roof piece right here. Yeah, that's more than enough space. I think we can sacrifice it quite easily. Now, about the actual walls. How do we want to deal with this? Obviously, simply placing windows might not be enough. But I suppose that's going to be a good start. So let's just start with that. Let's just fill up this wall with windows. Yeah, as you can see, this is very, very boring. I think we can do a bit better, but how? Unfortunately, we don't have access to half foundations and floors. So we cannot have, for example, the middle wall inset by one. That's not going to work. I mean, inset by half. Can we inset it by a full step? How will that look? I suppose it will work. it doesn't look too bad. Especially if we give it a bit of extra depth. For example, if we have these inverted half wedges. Like this. Yes, definitely. I think this will be enough to make it look more interesting. Also, now that I look at it, what if we get rid of these two walls and replace them with wedges once again? Oh yeah, definitely. In fact, I am pretty happy with this amount of extra detail. Yeah, I think we can do this like so. Okay, I will get rid of these extra walls on the middle level, and I think we can call that good enough. I think we should still get enough support from the rest of the structure. Right? Yes. Very good. Okay, I think that is decided then. That is what the basic structure will be. Yes, we did have to sacrifice a bit of extra room on the middle level, but I think that is acceptable. Yes. Okay, let me put in the windows. In fact, if we turn the middle level into our living space, we can treat these as balconies as well. Definitely. The only thing we need to take care of is, well, we need to find a way to actually, yeah, this should be fairly easy to deal with. We only need to put a door here and here. Okay, tell you what, I am pretty happy with this arrangement. Yeah, I think I am. Okay, the only thing missing now is that we need to put in these wedges there or as a support for the middle level, and that part of the construction is complete. Yeah, tell you what, I think I am relatively happy with this arrangement. We will have more than enough power, and yeah. Okay, next let's seal up the garage. For that one, all we need to do is obviously put in these two walls. A half wall to cap it off. And as you might have guessed, a penta shield goes over the entrance. There we go. Thankfully, this vent generator is strong enough to generate enough power for these guys. So, what do you think? I think the main structure is relatively okay. Obviously, because of the space constraints, we cannot have that little buttresses that I have showcased in the last episode. Unfortunately, those are, well, those don't have enough space, but yeah, I think we did all right. Although I am very happy with that space for a wind generator, but I am not sure about down here. The problem is that we are forced to do this because of the staircase down here. Well, anyways, not much we can do about that. So we have plenty of room for all the machinery to put in here. In fact, if I'm completely honest, I think that this is a little bit too much space for me still, but it's fine. Now up here, yeah, I think this one looks okay. Obviously, we will need to make sure we are not going to fall down, so some railings are in order. And you know what, might as well fill up the rest of the floors. Yeah, might as well just take care of it now. And I think this base is pretty much finished at this point. Obviously, well, it still needs a lot of work, but the main structure is complete. Yeah, getting around might be a little bit convoluted, especially on the middle level, but other than that, I think it's fine. The only problem I have is that, well, this staircase basically. It has to be like this. If we blocked off these corners, we would not have enough space. If we put that staircase here, then it cannot be accessed from here because it will be blocked off. So, and if we put it here, then this place would basically bump into that corner which would be blocked. So once again, it has to be like this. But you know what, it's a small price to pay. Let me just do this on every level. Okay, not too bad. Let me just put in some railings on these stairs real quick. This one is a bit of a problem. I suppose we can get rid of this railing and replace it with a stair railing. But how do we block that? I suppose we can put in a wedge. That should be fine. Yeah, like this. I think it's acceptable. Also, I think I would prefer not to have this one here. Oh, it's very dark. But that's fine. So let's take one last look from the outside and let's see what we have. So yeah, this is a decent little base, and the best thing about it is that we do not have to pay taxes on it. If you check down here, there is no slot for a tax. All we need to do to make this place last is to, well, keep it powered, and that's it. Very, very convenient. Basically, if we are going to go on a long break, maintaining this base is going to be a lot easier. Okay, I think it is now time to bring in all the vehicles. Also, hi there. Let's make sure that we can actually park our ornithopters. So let's start with the big guy. Okay, it is just barely big enough. And just to be extra sure, let's check. And yes, decay safe. That's good. And I think we can squeeze in the small guy as well. it's just going to be very, very cramped. I think if we hop a little bit to the side, I think it's going to be okay. Land here. Don't worry about the tail poking out. As long as the main body is sheltered, is fine. There, and let's bring in the scout. Yeah, fits in quite easily. Okay, then I think it is decided then. I think this is going to be our base from now on. It just requires a bit of lighting, and we will have more than enough room for all our machinery. Yeah, quite easily. Okay, so is this guy empty? Yeah, only has the body, that's it. Okay, so how much stuff do we have in the old base? Well, we have quite a few water tanks and a bunch of these aluminium storages and all the machinery. The machinery will fit into the new base quite easily. As you can see, most of them are no taller than a single wall. The big problem is the refinery. Thankfully, this spice refinery can fit into a 1.5 walls tall of headspace, so this one will be quite alright in the new base as well. We can just put this into the garage or into the hangar, and that's going to be fine. So yeah, I think we can start moving stuff in there. And well, I think, yes, I will actually use the middle level for our living quarters. So main storage will be down here, I suppose. I will try to come up with a better way of dealing with these stairs, by the way. Maybe it will look better if it was inverted. Let's just take a look. And in between episodes, I will move everything into this base, and yeah, I think from now on we'll live here. And yes, I think this stair looks a bit better this way. Let me just put in the railings. And there we go. I don't think I can move the foundations down by half a wall. No. Things would poke through, so let's not do that. So yeah, we will have plenty of space for all our machinery, and we can put the spice refinery into one of these corners or against one of the walls. That's going to be fine. So yeah, I think we are pretty much done with this episode. All I wanted to do in this one is to, well, build a tax haven, and I think I have succeeded. Yeah, sure. Okay, I guess I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, you can leave a like, leave a comment, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you want. If you would like to support me a little bit more, you can do so by clicking the join button and becoming a channel member, which will give you an early and ad-free access to these videos. Once again, thank you for watching, and thank you very much for your support. I will see you in the next one. Thank you, and goodbye.